So you got this dude that's from the streets that took a 15-year plea deal because he didn't want to tell on his friend. Now the sad part about it is he didn't have nothing to do with what his friend was doing that day when they got caught up. He literally was just at the wrong place at the wrong time, but he stuck to the G code and didn't tell on his friend. Now this is the crazy part. Once he took the plea deal, his life got beyond worse. He didn't talk to nobody in the outside world for like 3 months. So one day he calls his mom. His mom picks up the phone and says, "Baby, I'm so happy you called. It's something I gotta tell you, but I think it's better for your daughter to tell you." So he takes a deep breath and he said, "Okay, Mom, put her on the phone." His 11-year-old daughter, Monique, gets on the phone and starts crying. As she's crying, she keeps saying, "Daddy, I wish you was here, Daddy. I wish you was here." So now he takes another deep breath, leans on the wall, and exhales. He's thinking that his baby just missing. He says, "Baby, what's wrong?" As she's sniffling and crying, it's hard for her to get the words out. So she says, "Daddy, Mommy boyfriend be making me do weird stuff that I don't want to do to him." He jumps off the wall really quick, start looking confused like, "What?" So he says very angry and aggressive, "What do you mean?" Then she started bursting out crying. "Daddy, he be making me do a whole bunch of stuff. When Mommy go to work, he come in my room and do this," and went into detail. Now his mother, which is her grandmother, is hearing everything she's saying. She screams over the phone, "God, help my baby, save my baby, cover under your blood, God." As she gets to praying, he gets heated because he can't do nothing about it. Angry and aggressive, he says, "Monique, tell your brother to be at grandma's house tomorrow. Get a hold of your brother so I can talk to him tomorrow." Monique is crying over the phone saying, "Okay, Daddy, I'm going to try to get a hold of him." So with his voice trembling, he says, "I'm going to call y'all tomorrow." She starts screaming, "Please, Daddy, call tomorrow, please." The next day, he calls his mother. His son picks up. They both are excited to hear from each other. So he cuts the happy conversation short and says, "Listen, Marcus, I know you heard what happened to your sister." Marcus, 17-year-old, says, "Yeah, Dad, I heard what happened." So he says, "Marcus," without saying too much, "I think you need to go pay a visit." His son Marcus, speaking in code, says, "Okay, Dad, I'm going to go visit him." He said, "I'm going to call tomorrow and we're going to see how I went from there." His mother get on the phone to get to yelling at him right away. "Don't you send that boy over there to try to do anything." And she's screaming at her grandson, "Marcus, if you go over there, I'm going to call the police, yada, yada, yada." As she's yelling at her grandson, her and her grandson is going back and forth. The phone hangs up. So the next day he calls his mom. His mom picks up and says, "Baby, I'm so happy you called. I got something to tell you." He put his arm on the wall, started rubbing his head out of pure excitement. Smiles and say, "What's going on, Mom?" He believed that his 17-year-old son just got revenge for him. His mother takes a deep breath, voice trembling, and says, "Baby, Marcus just passed away last night." His eyes buck, mouth drop, heart beating really hard. He grabs his chest and say, "Mom, what are you talking about?" His mother started crying and says, "Baby, Marcus went over there with a weapon, pointed at that man's house and said what he was going to do to them." She said the man that took advantage of your daughter came to his door with his weapon. He told Marcus to leave the property and Marcus said, "Make him." Pointed the weapon at the man and the man got to firing and shot Marcus 3 times. He was pronounced dead before he even got to the hospital. And she started bawling. He's in complete shock, froze, that he can't believe that his son just passed away. And now he's thinking to himself, it's all my fault. Tears start flooding his eye. He falls to the ground crying, weeping, screaming, "No, no." He's screaming out, "He took my son, he took my son." So one dude get on the phone with his mother and says, "Hey, I'm just going to hang up because I don't want to burn his minutes up because I know he going to need them." So they hang up. And it's eating him up inside. Now he's thinking to himself, if I was just there, my daughter would have never got taken advantage of. And even if she did, I could be there to protect her. And if I was there, my son would be alive right now. He looked up and started looking at the walls. and start realizing that he chose his friends over his family that he was supposed to protect. He started realizing that his friends is not his real friends. Cause he felt like if they was his real friends, they wouldn't have let him took the fall for something that they did. But now he deep into it. He can't turn back. Now a few days go by, he's still feeling sad and depressed, but he's getting back to being normal. The day of his son's funeral, he started weeping because he couldn't be there. On the day of his son's funeral, he calls his mom. His 11-year-old daughter picks up, crying, saying, "Daddy, I'm so sorry." He said, "Sorry for what?" She said, "My brother gone because of me. I shouldn't have said nothing." His heart drops in his stomach. He feel like he gotta throw up. He's thinking to himself, why do my daughter feel like this is her fault? So he says, "Baby, it's not your fault, it's mine." He slips up and says, "I chose not to be there. I chose to do this time." Then she started weeping more. And she says, "Daddy, why?" He says, "Baby, why what?" She said, "Daddy, why did you choose to be there and not choose to be here to protect me?" Now he feels so disappointed and like he failed as a father. He's even ashamed to be on the phone with his 11-year-old daughter, the one he can't protect right now. He started weeping uncontrollably, saying, "Baby, I gotta call you back." The little girl gets to screaming, "Daddy, please don't hang up. Please don't hang up." He couldn't take it. He says, "Baby, I gotta go," and hung up. Now he's stressed out. He can't sleep. He can't eat. He feel like he failed as a father, a son, and now he's irritated with the dudes he been hanging around. So he doesn't call his mom for a couple of days. So one day he started feeling better and calls his mom. His mother picks up the phone and says, "Baby, I'm so happy you called. I got something to tell you." So he's confused, stressed out. He says, "What, Mom? What you got to tell me?" She said, "Baby, Stanley, the one that took advantage of your daughter and the one that took the life of your son, passed away yesterday." He jumps up with so much joy and excitement and said, "God don't like ugly. God don't like ugly." He is beyond excited and he's getting emotional. But she says, "Baby, I got something else to tell you." He thinking it's going to be more good news. She said, "Baby, Jason is the one that took his life." He smacks the wall and say, "You talking about my 16-year-old son, Jason?" She says, "Yes," and starts weeping.